Good morning, everybody. I'm crazycayo, and today we're doing something a little bit different. So I was at the registry the other day. My sister was renewing her driver's license, and there was all this study material for Canadian citizenship tests. And I feel like there's a lot of push for that here in Lethbridge where I live, because we have a lot of international students who eventually want to come and work here in Canada. And I was like, well, I wonder how hard that test would actually be if I actually know enough to actually become a Canadian citizen if I hadn't been born here. And I wanted to see kind of some of the stuff that they were testing, so I found two tests. We're going to take them both and see how horribly I do, because I imagine I will do horribly at them and not actually be able to become a Canadian citizen if this was actually the test. I haven't done any studying, so I'm doing this cold turkey. Which, I mean, if I was doing the real test, I would probably study. But I just wanted to see what was on these tests. So, here we go. First one is citizensupport.ca. And we have a 20-question quiz. Now, I didn't notice they have a time limit on this one, which is 30 minutes. I'm already down 4 minutes, so we're gonna go. Question 1. What are the three main groups of Aboriginal people? I believe it is First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. Who was John Bouchon? I have no idea. Do you know? Who is this John Bouchon? A popular Governor General of Canada, famous Canadian general, victorious Canadian Army general. It gives me a lot of generals. One of the fathers of Confederation. Sure, we'll go with that one. Why not? He could be a father of Confederation. When did the House of Commons recognize that the Quebecois form a nation within a united Canada? Again, no idea. Let's guess 1986. Sure. Marjorie Turner Bailey. I recognize this name. We haven't had a woman prime minister, have we? No idea. So we're gonna say a famous Canadian settler. When did English settlement begin in Canada? I'm trying to do some math in my head. Let's see, we just did our 150th as a country, which would put us in the... yeah, I don't know. We're gonna go with 1720. The other ones seem too old, but who knows? I'm totally gonna fail this test. Who established the first European settlements? I think it was actually the French, if I remember. This is all like social studies, and I haven't done social studies since grade 12, which was 5 years ago. So I haven't even thought about half of this stuff for 5 years. Who passed the Quebec Act of 1774? Probably the Quebec Parliament. No one knows. Which act granted to the Canadas? What? Which act granted to the Canadas for the first time legislative assembly elected by the people? Freedom Act, Constitutional Act, Legislative Act, Confederation Act. Constitution, legislation, Confederation. Sure. I'm gonna totally fail this. Who was Lieutenant Colonel John Graves Simcoe? Oh, see, I remember that name too, but I can't remember what he did. John Graves Simcoe. Upper Canada's first Lieutenant Governor and founder of the City of Toronto. Lower Canada's first Lieutenant Governor and founder of the City of Toronto. Lower Canada's first Lieutenant Governor and founder of the City of Ottawa. The leader of the Loyalists. We're gonna go with the one that's not like the others, which is probably a horrible mistake. When did British Parliament abolish slavery throughout the Empire? feel like it's gonna be in the 1800s, not the 1700s. I'm gonna go with 1833, because I think 1807 is too early, and 1853 is too late, but at the same time I'm probably horribly wrong. Three Fathers of Confederation. Doesn't help that I can't read, apparently. Okay, Sir Etienne Pascal Taché, Sir George Etienne Cartier, and Sir John A. Macdonald. Pretty sure he was a prime minister at one point. La Fontaine, Robert Baldwin, Joseph Howe, Joseph Brant, Joseph Howe, James MacDonald, Joseph Howe, Robert La Fontaine, and Sir Etienne Pascal Taché. I'm gonna go with the first one, because it's kind of the only name that I sort of recognize. Some of these sound vaguely familiar, but I don't know. Which phrase embodied the vision for the Dominion of Canada? What? O Canada, my home and native land, dominion from sea to sea, and from the river to the ends of the earth, dominion from ocean to ocean, land of the free and the strong? Sure, I like that one. Whose portrait is on the Canadian $10 bill? Oh, now is this like a 2020 test? Because we have a new $10 bill, which I'll have to show you guys sometime because it's kind of funky. I don't have one. I have one somewhere, but I'll have to show it to you. For a while they made like one that went up and down, and now I think we're back to across. I don't know, but I'll show it to you sometime. Either way, I believe it's either Cartier or MacDonald. Cartier or MacDonald. Let's go with Cartier. Why not? What the heck? What made it possible for immigrants to settle in Western Canada? Completion of the port in Vancouver, completion of the Canadian National Railway, giving of free land to new settlers, completion of the Canadian Pacific Railway. Which railway came first? I can't remember, but I'm assuming it's probably going to be a railway. CN or CP? We're going to go with CP. When were the Canadian and Quebec pension plans devised? How is any of this stuff relevant to actually being a worthwhile citizen in Canada? That is my biggest question. Why does this question matter? I feel like it should be more things like, how can you contribute to Canadian society, not stuff about pension plans. I mean, I know we have them. Do I care when they were devised? Not really. I don't know. Let's pick one randomly and go with 1927. What is La Francophonie? Yeah, I was gonna say it's stuff to do with Quebec. Quebec is weird in its own way. It's like its own little mini country within our country. A region in Quebec, a French music instrument, an international association of French-speaking countries, a French music festival. I'm gonna go with the International Association. No idea. Why is Terry Fox a Canadian national hero? Yeah. So, this is the answer. Inspired people to contribute money for cancer research. He did not become the first elected president of Canada. He was not a great hockey player, and he did not unite Canada in the 19th century. So Terry Fox, if you don't know, look him up. He's kind of actually a pretty cool guy. He ran from one side of the country to the other, and he only had one leg at the time, and he had cancer, and it was kind of crazy. We used to do, when I was in grade school, you do like a mini Terry Fox run, which was just kind of like a run around the block, and your school would raise money. It's still a really big thing. So yeah, he is a national hero. What are the responsibilities of the federal government? Yeah, they do national and international concern. They don't really care about provincial concern. That's why we have provincial governments. And yeah, they do both, not just 1. Who has the right to vote in a federal election? Canadian citizen, at least 18 years old on voting day and on the voters list. An adult Canadian citizen, and permanent resident, Canadian citizen on the voters list. This one. Canadian citizen, 18 years old, so age of majority. In most places, some places, not all places. But that's kind of like the standard. And then on the voters list, because you have to be on the voters list. Where do the majority of Canadians live? Rural areas, small towns, cities along the East Coast. The East Coast is kind of actually tiny. I don't feel like we could all live on the East Coast. Rural areas, small towns, cities. I would say probably actually, although that's the weird part about Canada is we actually have a lot of space and we don't actually have a ton of huge cities. I mean, we have some big cities, but a lot of places don't actually have a lot of big cities. I'm gonna say small towns. How horribly did I do? Oh, I got that one right. Alright, what are the 3 groups of Aboriginal people? First Nation, Métis, Inuit. Correct. Who was John Bouchon? Oh, popular Governor General of Canada. Who knew he was not a father of Confederation? When the House of Commons recognized that Quebecois form a nation within United Canada. 2006. There you go. I was alive during this. Didn't know it happened. It was not 1986. Who was Marjorie Turner Bailey? Oh, an Olympian and descendant from black loyalists. Famous, she was not a settler, apparently. She could have been both. No, she couldn't. When did English settlement begin in Canada? 1610. Oh, okay. So it was. I figured it would be one of these two, because these ones seemed way too early. But there you go. It's not 1720. Who established the first European settlements? The French. I got that one right. Yay! Who passed the Quebec Act? The British Parliament. Oh, okay. Sounds good. Yeah, because who knew if Quebec was even really a thing at the time? Who knows? Which act granted to the Canadas for the first time legislative assemblies elected by the people? Constitutional Act. Yay! Who was Lieutenant Colonel John Graves Simcoe? He was not the leader of the Loyalists. He was Upper Canada's first Lieutenant Governor and founder of the City of Toronto. I would not know that because I've only ever been to... Have I been to Toronto? I think I've maybe been to Toronto once. And I feel like we never talked about that at school. When did British Parliament abolish slavery? I got that one right. 1833. Look at that. My logic somehow logicked that one out of my head. 3 fathers of Confederation. Aha. Yes, I got that one right. Sir Etienne Pascal Taché, Sir George Etienne Cartier, and Sir John A. Macdonald. See, I know some things, just not most things. Which phrase embodied the vision for the Dominion of Canada? Dominion from sea to sea and the river to the ends of the earth. Oh, okay. No idea. I like this line better. Whose portrait is on the Canadian $10 bill? Oh, I put Cartier, it's Sir John Alexander Macdonald. It was going to be one of the two, but who knows? They're old guys. They'll start looking the same after a while. Which is probably a horrible thing to say. What made it possible for immigrants to settle in Western Canada? Completion of the Citizenship railway. Yes, I guess the right railway. When were the Canadian Quebec pension plans devised? 1965, not 1927. I figured that was too early, but that was my random guess of the day. I mean, most of these were random guesses of the day. I did get this one. What is La Francophonie, an international association of French-speaking countries? Why is Terry Fox a Canadian hero? Inspired people to contribute money for cancer research. Oh, wow. There we go. Look at this. A whole streak of correct answers. What are the responsibilities of the federal government? Matters of national and international concern. Who's the right to vote? Canadian citizen, at least 18 years old on voting day, and on the voters list. Majority of Canadians live in cities. Okay. I don't know. There you go. Look at that. I did not become a citizen. So, there you go. First test done. 50%. That's actually not too bad. I would not have passed because you have to have 75%. But considering I did no studying And most of this is stuff that I have either never looked at in my life or haven't looked at. A lot of it I feel like even since like junior high school, which is like grade 7 to grade 9. So that's even further back in my lifetime. So not bad. Not bad at all. Except I failed. Intriguing. On to test number 2. So this one's 25 questions. Who was the first Prime Minister of Canada? John A. Macdonald. Yay! Look at that. My score is 100%. Just watch how fast that falls. What is the significance of hockey? Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's our national winter sport. Is it the most popular spectator sport in Canada? See, I don't watch hockey. That will make like every Canadian boo me ever. Except for those of us who secretly don't watch hockey. Is it though actually the most popular spectator sport? It won't surprise me. It's not a national summer sport because it's mostly played in winter. Did we win the gold medal in 2008 Olympics in this event? Again, I don't watch hockey, so I wouldn't know. Why is this on a citizenship test? Again, who cares? It's hockey. It's a sport. What does that have to do with Canada and living in Canada? We're gonna go with that one. Oh, correct. Okay. I don't watch hockey. Which of the following were the 4 provinces of the Canadian Confederation? New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Province of Canada. Ontario, Quebec. New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Province of Canada. Manitoba, Nova Scotia, Province of Canada. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Alberta, Manitoba. I feel like it's going to be one of these two. Let's go with A. Wow, I got it right, guys. I am 100% correct. Maybe this one. I'll actually become a citizen. Animal is the national symbol of Canada. I believe it is a beaver. It's not a deer, it's not a cougar, and it's not a bear. They gave me really bad options for the rest of them. If you want to throw me off, make it, I don't know, something else that's like major in Canada, like moose. I feel like it should be moose, not beavers. The only reason it's beavers is because of beaver pelts and things. What is the significance of the Quebec Act in 1774? Canada's tolerance toward all religions was affected. It was the birth of Canada. No. Province of Quebec was divided into Upper Canada and Lower Canada. What is this Upper Canada, Lower Canada thing? I feel like we never talked about that in school. Peace, order, and good government became Canada's main principle. I'm gonna say it's this one. Nope. Okay. It was something to do with religion. Okay. There goes my perfect score. What principles out of the following is Canada's constitution based on? Peace, order, and good government. Mobility rights, order, and good government. Multiculturalism, peace, and order. War, order, and good government. War. It's the first thing when you think of Canada, you think of war. This one. Yes, that one seemed the most Canadian-ish. Which of the following answers is not true about the Canada-US relationship? Canada and US are the largest trading partners in the world. I don't think so. Canada and US share the longest undefended international border. I know that is a true fact. The Canada-US relationship is closest and most extensive in the world. I don't know. Canada exports very few goods to the US. So I'm looking for the one that's not true. So I'm going to say this one is not true. Really? I mean, I guess that one makes sense too. How are we the largest trading partners in the world? Do you think it would be? I know they're having some difficulties with China, but also I don't know how old this test is. So it might be skewed. I'm dying, guys. I'm dying. At this point, I'm not a citizen. Under Canadian law, why is every person presumed to be innocent until proven guilty? To establish that no person or group is above the law, ensure that men and women are equal under the law, provide freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, guarantee due legal process under law. This one sounds right, and it is. Look, we're a citizen again. What is the highest honor a Canadian can receive? Order of Peace, Canadian Crown, Canadian Cross, Victoria Cross. I know the Victoria Cross is a big deal. Do we have a Canadian cross? A Canadian crown? I feel like that's the thing too, but I think it's that one. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only one I've really majorly heard of and people seem to make a big deal about. What is Canada's system of government? Federal, state, parliamentary democracy, and dictatorship. Oh yes, we heard dictatorship. Sometimes it feels like that. Federal, state, parliamentary democracy, and constitutional monarchy. Police state. Yes, we're that too. Parliamentary democracy and constitutional monarchy. Federal state, provincial state, and constitutional monarchy. This one sounds right because we have a federal government, we have a provincial government, and a constitutional monarchy. So that means that we're still, I guess, pay some allegiance to the crown, but they don't actually have much of a say in what we do. No? Oh, I was mostly right. Oh, okay, fine, be that way. I hate you. Who governs Canada on a daily basis at the federal level? The Prime Minister. Not the Queen. Not the Premier. Premier is the leader of the provincial government in each province. And the Governor General is something else. I don't remember what exactly they do. 3 branches of the Canadian government. That's this one. I remember this from social studies. Executive, legislative, and judicial. Member of Parliament from Toronto decides to spend the weekend in his or her electoral district. This means the MP will be in Toronto. I feel like that's trying to be a trick question. But if you're a member of Parliament from Toronto and you were elected in your district, that would mean you were in Toronto. It's trying to trick you. What did the suffrage movement achieve? Women attain the right to vote. Yes. There you go. I'm still a citizen, guys. Who, out of the following, is above the law in Canada? Nobody. Because that's the whole point of the law. Why was the discovery of insulin by Canadians so important? Insulin treats heart disorders, which has saved millions of lives worldwide. Insulin treats diabetes, which has saved millions of lives worldwide. Insulin controls human growth hormones, which has made life better for millions of people. Insulin has eliminated polio in the world. Insulin has to do with diabetes. Yeah, go Canada. What region of Canada is known as the Land of the Midnight Sun? That would be the Northern Territories, where it is cold and dark and snowy for most of its life. I've never been up north that far. I mean, I live far enough north that winter sucks. I don't want more winter. What does the crown mean for Canadians? The crown is a symbol of the national motto, Marquis usque mare, which in Latin means from sea to sea. The crown is a symbol of government, including parliament, legislatures, courts, police, services, and armed forces. The crown is a symbol of England, France, Scotland, and Ireland, as well as red maple leaves. The crown reflects the Greco-Roman heritage of Western civilization in which democracy originated. I don't know this one. To me, the crown means more stuff to do with the whole constitutional monarchy thing, but let's try that one. That one made the most sense. This one made no sense. Look, guys, I'm doing way better on this one. What's the following are Atlantic provinces? That would be all the ones on the east coast. So Alberta, where I am, is on the, not the west coast, we're in sort of the middle. We're closer to the west coast, but we are a, I guess it would still be a western province then. But Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and PEI are Atlantic provinces. So this one is the right answer: Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI. Because Ontario isn't, and Manitoba isn't. Look at that. The brain works every once in a while. What does the National Register of Electors contain? Did we have one of those? I mean, I would assume it would have, yeah, all the people who are able to vote. To which of the following communities do the majority of Canadians belong? Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu. I'm gonna go with that. It is the primary role of police in Canada. Provide national security intelligence to the government. No. Resolve disputes and interpret law. No. Sort of. To conduct or support land, welfare, peacekeeping, or humanitarian missions. What? Land? Oh, warfare. I was like, land welfare. What does that mean? Keep people safe and enforce the law. Yeah. Which of the following criterion gives a Canadian the right to vote? Being an official voters list, having a driver's license, being an immigrant, owning a house, being on the list. What are the following? Which is of the following? What is a non-Canadian not allowed to do? Get higher education, vote in federal and provincial elections. I'm okay. Own a house or farm or get health insurance. That would be vote. Wow, guys, I'm doing amazing. What Canadian province is the largest producer of oil and natural gas? That would be us, Alberta. So there. Look at that! 88%. So, yeah. That one was a lot better. A lot better. We did so much better on this one. I feel like this one had a lot less history stuff and dates, though. This one had a lot more just general stuff about Canada. So that really helped me a lot. The main thing I don't understand with the Canadian citizenship test is that it doesn't really have anything that's relevant to actually living in Canada nowadays. I mean, yeah, it's cool that to do this test you have to learn a whole bunch of our history, but I really feel like that should not be the deciding factor of who gets citizenship. But sure, go for it. So, in one way, I would have not become a citizen in our first test. In the second test, I totally would be a citizen. So I'm not sure what that says about me. I mean, it says that I know, like, nothing about my country's history. Mostly because we do that in, like, grade school, and it just gets long and sloggy and boring. I don't know what it's like nowadays in grade school. Because that was a while ago for me. But, yeah. No idea. So, if you want to try these, I am on 2 websites. I will post the links in the description below. See if you can become a Canadian citizen or beat my scores. Especially on the first one. The first one was way harder than the second one. Yeah, and if you are looking to become a Canadian citizen, please study. Because there is a lot of dates if it's like the first one. There's a lot of dates, a lot of names. Yeah, most of which us as I am a Canadian citizen because I was born here, and it seems kind of ridiculous to me that if I don't know all this crap, why you should have to know this crap. Not that it's crap, but it just it seems very weird to me. But anyways, this was me seeing if I am a Canadian citizen, and I am. I mean, that was never in doubt. But I could have potentially become a Canadian citizen. It really depends on what test questions I would have gotten. Anyways, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.